travelers, Mag and I here on day 100 and 14 of our trip around the United States. The idea of being a half day off schedule was bothering me immensely. Not only did we miss a couple of libraries, but we also missed the Grotto Virtual and a couple of great veterans memorials. I was motivated last night and decided just to push on ahead. We kept trucking all the way through the night until we made it back onto our original schedule, still 2 days ahead, in Dodge City. So we're shooting right now from the edge of Mervin Lake in Calhoun County. Today's miles are relatively short. We only have 170 miles from here until we reach Des Moines. That's 4 counties, including Calhoun. We've already been to Des Moines. Seeing the Capitol buildings has always been a big priority for me geocaching. But the reason that we're going back is because the county challenge for the state is located in Des Moines. So we got to go back to put our name on the log. And since we're already going to go back there anyway, we're definitely going to go see that Capitol building. I've seen most of the Capitol buildings in the country, and the one in Des Moines is my favorite. More specifically, the statue facing the Capitol building. And I can't wait to show you guys. Plus, I can't wait to show you a little bit of Des Moines. So, we've got a few counties between here and there. We are going to have the chance to hit a trail before we get into the city, so we are going to get a little hiking time before we start doing all those targets. I know it's going to be a great day, and I can't wait to see the Capitol. So come on, let's get this thing moving. Let's go!
Our first stop of the day was Freedom Park in Churton. This small town boasts a population of only around 330, but they still have a great veterans memorial to remember the 11 who passed during World War I and World War II.
There sure isn't much corn left now. The farmers have pretty much harvested it all. There's very few crops remaining, which totally changed the landscape out here. Because in the summertime, when the cornfields are green and lush, you really can't see over the top of them, so you're just driving between fields. But now that they've been harvested, you can see right over the top of everything, and it goes on and on and on. It totally changes the view out here in Iowa.
The city of Boone welcomes you into town with this big train.
Train hides done right. Welcome to Boone.
Just 4 miles southwest of Boone, you can find the Ledges State Park. This is one of Iowa's most historic and unique nature destinations, especially for hikers and outdoor enthusiasts. The trail system winds through steep slopes, scenic overviews, and sandstone ledges. And I have never seen so many people in a state park before this. Getting clean shots without other people in them was quite the challenge. But it was easy to see why this park was overcrowded today. The fall colors have come in beautifully, and the yellows create a surreal look walking down the trail system. The entire time Aichan and I were ascending up to the top of this rise, it felt like we were walking through a painting. So glad to have the fall colors back again.
Man, they were not kidding around. If you wanted to come visit his plaque, they were making you work for it every step of the way.
If you can make it all the way to the top though, you will be rewarded with a fantastic view overlooking the park. And just a little ways down the trail from there, you can find an old ammo can.
Now that is certainly a reward worth making the climb for. Plus, it's a 2001 geocache up here. These are always awesome.
And of course you already know, Aichan's favorite part of any hike is always the return to the car. She may have taken half a lifetime to get up here, but we practically flew all the way back down these railroad tie stairs to reach the bottom. Our hiking was not quite over yet though. We stopped into Minburn to take a little bit of the Raccoon River Valley Trail. In total, this trail stretches for 89 miles through 14 other communities. We only did about a mile round though, and then we came back around to check out the Veterans Memorial near our parking area. And having been completed only about a year ago, you can practically smell the new paint on this one. Interestingly, it was placed at this location to add to the Freedom Rock that has already been here since 2019. We're really glad we had the chance to see at least one more of these rocks today too. Despite trying to push ahead last night to put ourselves back on schedule, we still did not end up reaching Des Moines until the sun was nearly down. There was not enough time available to do everything that we wanted to do, but we still had enough time to make it to the Capitol area and tour a nearby sculpture park. The John and Mary Pappajohn Sculpture Park has been open to visitors since September of 2009 and features artwork by more than 20 of the world's most celebrated artists. The 4.4-acre parkland is owned and maintained by the city of Des Moines, whereas the artworks are owned and maintained by the Des Moines Art Center. The park featured 24 sculptures when it opened, valued at $40 million USD, and then acquired another 4 more after that. It is considered one of the most significant collections of outdoor sculptures in the United States. While some of the pieces are fairly straightforward, others leave you scratching your head as to what they could be. If you go to the DesMoinesArtCenter.org page, which is linked in the description, they offer a park visitor's guide which tells you all about each of the sculptures. The extremely helpful brochure tells you the name of the artist, where they reside from, their birth and death year, the name of the sculpture and when it was cast, what material it was cast out of, and how large the sculpture is. All accompanied by the artist's interpretation of each individual piece. There is definitely a little something for everybody here, and much like the state park we visited earlier today, there were actually quite a lot of people enjoying the park along with us. My personal favorite was by Yoshitomo Nara, the White Ghost, spooking all visitors coming into the northwest corner of the park. Now let's get to know a little bit more about Des Moines, the state capital of Iowa, and the only 5-domed Capitol building in the country. The Capitol was constructed over the course of 15 years between 1871 and 1886 at the cost of $2.9 million. 29 different types of marble were used in the construction, including 22 foreign marbles and 7 domestic. 12 types of wood were used, all native to Iowa except mahogany. And in total there were 14 million bricks used during its construction. The building houses the Iowa Senate, Iowa House of Representatives, Iowa General Assembly, Office of the Governor, Attorney General, Auditor, Treasurer, and Secretary of State. Walking around the outside of the Capitol building provides a fantastic view of Des Moines below you and affords the opportunity to walk through many different memorials. And each memorial is presented in its own unique way. In fact, there are just too many to be able to show you. The Capitol area is surrounded by a total of 47 different pieces of artwork and memorials. What is clear is that Iowa has a very rich history that they used the Capitol building in Des Moines to celebrate to the people. This piece is called the Allison Monument. She was a pivotal figure in Iowa politics and represented the state in Congress for 43 years. Twice a candidate for the presidential nomination and a close associate of every United States president from Abraham Lincoln to Theodore Roosevelt. If you'd like to learn more about the fantastic pieces of art scattered around the Capitol grounds, I've also included a link to the Iowa Legislature page which offers a brochure to tell you about each one.
Let me introduce you to Iowa, my favorite statue at any Capitol building I've ever been to. Iowa is a product of government efficiency at its best. She was originally commissioned to be a part of the Soldiers and Sailors Monument. In 1888, James Harlan pushed the legislature to put in a statue to commemorate the soldiers who'd fought in the Civil War, because Iowa had actually, per capita, sent the most troops to the Union, so of course they needed a statue to commemorate it. Well, it was a 10-year process that got where we were from the original statue to the Iowa you see today. A beautiful young woman offering nourishment to her children. By the way, she's pointing up directly at the Capitol building, which leads me to believe her children are supposed to be right in there. So here's how we got to where we are. In 1888, James Harlan pushed that legislator to get a statue commissioned. They found their artist. She was well renowned. She submitted her drawings. Everybody was very happy with it. And they didn't get the funding very quickly. In 1890, that artist died. The funding didn't come through until 1892. At that point, they decided to hire the lowest bidder. The lowest bidder submitted a design that didn't quite match up to this, and by the time they realized what was happening, it was already moving through the process. So once we get to the unveiling in 1898, 10 years later, they decide not to have an opening ceremony for it because the people who originally commissioned it weren't happy about it. The people who it was supposed to honor, well, they weren't very happy about it either. It kind of didn't satisfy anybody except the artist, who I think had a good laugh about the whole situation. I personally think this is a fantastic statue. It's really interesting to think about this pointing at the state capitol building every day. Go to the comments and let me know what you think about Iowa. She's something, right?
And I can't think of a better place to watch the sun go down over Des Moines than from the steps of the Capitol building.
All right, travelers, that brings an end to our third day on the road here in Iowa. It turned out to be a little different day than I thought. We pushed forward last night and got to where we needed to be, but it meant for a late start this morning. So while we did get a little bit further ahead, we still didn't get as far ahead as I would have liked. We ended up having to skip most of our Des Moines targets in order to get to the Capitol building here with daylight on our side, and I absolutely wanted to come see the Capitol building again. How about that Iowa statue, huh? Even though the sun's going down, we're still gonna cruise around town for a little bit longer and go see some other stuff we wanted to see and go find some of those geocaches we wanted to find. But our historical part of the tour and the part that we shoot for is over. We hope you can join us tomorrow. We're getting back on the road and we will have an early start with sunrise and be moving on the miles on our regular schedule again. The half-day thing is over for me, not working at all. Thank you for joining us. Like this video, subscribe to stay tuned for daily updates, and we'll see you out on the trails.